Coming up, new details out of Texas, why investigators believe the suspect in last week's deadly school shooting may have studied previous shootings. Plus, the future of the Sarasota Bayfront in question, what could be next for the Van Wezel. And it's been a year since Florida's first diverging diamond opened here on the Suncoast, but has it helped cut back on crashes? Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC7 News at noon.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Our top story today at noon. New details on last Friday's deadly school shooting in Texas. Sources tell ABC News the 17-year-old suspect studied the tactics used in previous attacks. ABC's Elizabeth Herr is in Texas as that tight-knit Santa Fe community continues to honor the victims with flags at half staff, church services, and vigils.
This morning, a moment of silence across Texas to honor the 2 teachers and 8 students killed in what is now the 9th fatal school shooting this year. Of the 13 others wounded, 2 of them are still recovering in the hospital.
He's actually shooting. He's in the art room. We got shots fired right now, guys.
According to police, 17-year-old Demetrios Pagorchis stormed into an art class Friday morning at Santa Fe High School, yelling "surprise," then using a .38 caliber handgun and shotgun to shoot his classmates. Trent Beasley told Michael Strahan on GMA he heard the suspect taunting his victims.
Every time he'd kill someone, he'd say, "Another one bites the dust."
The motive remains under investigation, but authorities confirmed to ABC News the now confessed gunman may have studied previous mass shootings, allegedly using aspects of those attacks on Friday. Investigators say Pagorchis arrived armed with homemade explosives and wearing a trench coat, a hallmark of the shooters in the Columbine massacre.
I was just shocked and surprised.
Students who knew the suspect remain in disbelief, and in a statement over the weekend, the suspect's parents also maintain they were equally shocked and confused.
He never seemed angry at all. He always seemed calm and cool.
The high school remains a crime scene, and so later this afternoon, district officials are set to announce their plans for the week ahead. For now, the school will stay closed today and tomorrow. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, Santa Fe, Texas.
Here in Florida, the state is forcing all districts to have a school resource officer on every campus. Manatee and Sarasota counties taking different approaches to the mandate. Manatee County still debating funding methods, while Sarasota County is moving forward with hiring its own police department. Both districts are also working on hardening school buildings with bulletproof windows and creating single entrance points. And later this week, your chance to talk about gun violence in the city of Sarasota. Police will hold a Stop the Gun Violence meeting this Thursday. It will be at the Robert L. Taylor Community Complex on 34th Street in Sarasota from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Last week's school shooting has provoked a response from a Sarasota state representative. Margaret Good and other Democratic lawmakers want to hold a special session on school security funding. Most school districts across the state are struggling to pay for the additional school resource officers required now. Good sent a letter to the Florida Secretary of State. In that letter, she writes, quote, "A lack of adequate resources threaten the education and safety of our public school children." Good added on social media, quote, "We can't expect schools to implement new security measures and provide the education our students deserve without adequate funding." Florida has already approved about $150 million in school security funding from this past session. And for more on the latest breaking news and first alert forecast, remember you can download our news app. Just go to your app store, look for WWSB or My Suncoast. Hurricane season now 10 days away, and the Florida Fund that helps private insurers pay out claims after a hurricane remains in good financial shape. Despite losses from Hurricane Irma, estimates show the Florida Hurricane Catastrophe Fund is worth about $17 billion right now. That fund built up its reserves during a lengthy period where there were no storms affecting the state. There were about $2 billion in claims associated with Irma, which did impact most of the state of Florida. Let's get more on our weather now with meteorologist John Scalzi, and a soggy weekend.
Oh my goodness!
And it's not over yet.
This is just remarkable. The kind of rain
for
May. It's unbelievable, really, the kind of rainfall we're getting. We've had numerous reports of over 6 inches of rainfall yesterday, you know, and then if you look at how much rain we've gotten over the course of the last 10 days. I mean, it's just tremendous amounts. And we're not done yet by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, some forward-looking computer models suggest that perhaps we have another 10 days of really kind of wet weather around here. So it's something we continue to watch. This is called an atmospheric river, which is set up, and it frequently leads to flooding in parts of the deep south. It is a plume of moisture that comes up from the, in our case, Caribbean, and really just saturates the atmosphere, really loads it with moisture. And that helps produce the numerous showers and heavy rains that we have seen that can lead to some localized flooding, especially as we saturate the ground. We've already got some rivers that are exceeding bank full. In our area, the Horse Creek at Arcadia and the little Myakka at Myakka Head, both exceeding flood stage today by about a foot, minor flooding there. But the rains keep coming, and locally we've got some showers in progress now, so it will be another wet afternoon. Some of the storms could produce some gusty winds as well as some pretty torrential downpours of rain. All part of this cloudiness that we see around here is that atmospheric river that I was talking about coming up from the tropics. Moisture and potentially some development in the form of either a slug of intense moisture lifting northward or perhaps even some tropical development over the course of the next probably 7 days or so. We'll talk about that coming up in just a few. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. What's next for the Van Wezel along Sarasota's Bayfront? City community leaders are meeting throughout the day to talk about options for a possible redesign to that historic concert hall. ABC7's Marla Spence explains how you can still have your voice heard on the project.
The group Bay Sarasota is looking at all 53 acres along the bayfront, but the Van Wezel is getting most of the attention now. People who live in the Sarasota community are giving their input on what the 53 acres and the Van Wezel will soon become. Design plans for the 53 acres of Sarasota's bayfront were released last month, but the Van Wezel wasn't included in those plans.
We came in April with 3 different schemes that in many different ways looked at the Van Wezel actually not being present on the site in the future, largely because a new performance art hall is in our future, and we hope that it becomes a reality.
The community expressed their desire for the Van Wezel to be a part of the redevelopment plan, so organizers of the Bay Sarasota development went back to the drawing board and came up with at least 2 new plans that now include the performing arts hall.
The question is really, what can it become then? If the building is part of the legacy and history of this place, how can we adapt it for a future where it maybe does something entirely different for the community?
The decision on what to do with the Van Wezel now lies with the City Commission. City leaders will be discussing the future of the iconic building at a City Commissioners meeting today. As for now, people throughout the community are putting in their feedback on the new redesign plans for the bayfront that includes the Van Wezel. A meeting was held earlier this morning at 8:30, and another one will be held at 1:30 this afternoon at the Van Wezel. I'm Marla Spence reporting in Sarasota for ABC7. Your Suncoast News.
Marla, thank you. New at noon, all lanes back open on I-75 after a crash backed up traffic for miles this morning near University Parkway. It happened just before 6 a.m. in the southbound lanes when a pickup truck driver tried to get over to the exit lane at University but didn't see a car right next to him. The 2 collided and crashed into a guardrail. The car's driver had only minor injuries, but emergency crews had to use the jaws of life to get the driver out of that pickup. He was rushed to Sarasota Memorial Hospital and is in critical condition at this point. Troopers releasing new details about a deadly hit-and-run crash in Venice last night. It happened around 11:30 along US 41, right near the intersection with Short Road. Troopers say 19-year-old Zachary O'Brien was trying to cross 41 when he was hit by a maroon SUV. The driver of that vehicle then took off. O'Brien was flown to Sarasota Memorial Hospital where he died. The search for the damaged SUV continues today. This week marks 1 year since Florida's first diverging diamond interchange opened to traffic here on the Suncoast. The Florida Department of Transportation credits the nearly $75 million project at I-75 and University Parkway for improving traffic flow and reducing the number of crashes there. Figures from the Florida Highway Patrol show a significant decrease in crashes at the interchange in its first 11 months of operation. But 1 year later, some people still find themselves driving defensively.
If they're supposed to get on the interstates or if it ends up being a turn lane. So there are different times where cars all of a sudden will slam on their brakes right in front of you.
Coming up tonight on ABC7 News at 6, Erica Jackson will show us how crashes have gone down in the last year and the possible changes FDOT is considering after a fatal wrong-way crash in that area just last month. ABC7 business commentator Richard Stern joins us now with a check of the day on Wall Street so far, and we're off to a very strong start for this new week.
And predictable, not usually the case, but yesterday you had some very strong words from the Secretary of the Treasury, and off we went this morning. And indeed, off we went. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up by more than 200 points faster than you can say Judy Gallagher. After that, we were up by 370 points at the high of the day. We're not quite there right now, but we're still showing strong gains across the board. We are now above 25,000, at least intraday, for the first time since the 16th of March. So all cylinders are firing right now. Let's take a look at the numbers. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up by 290 points, almost 1.2%. At 25,005.16, that on volume of 498 million shares. The NASDAQ actually the laggard of the day, and it's up by 1/3 of 1%, more than 25 points at 7,379.72, that on volume of 821 million shares. The S&P falls right in the middle, up 0.6 of 1%, more than 16 points at 2,728.90. Well, perhaps retail isn't dead after all. Macy's announced very good results last week, and now Dillard's has joined the party. Dillard's, which of course has a store you're looking at right there at University Town Center, today announced much better than expected quarterly earnings. Their sales were well above expectations. They had a 21% increase in their earnings. Same-store sales, as I said, very strong, and the strongest part, women's apparel. I guess that shouldn't surprise too many people. There are a few ladies that go out and shop for clothes from time to time. Judy Gallagher just raised her hand again. So with all that going on, we've got lots to be thankful for. Pretty darn good start for the day.
Yeah, it's nice to see one of those big box clothing.
Very nice. Well. Absolutely right.
Richard, thank you. We'll see you again at 5.
I'll be here.
Okay. Still to come on your Suncoast News today, the FDA approving a new prescription drug to treat migraines. We'll show you how it works. And Hawaii's Big Island still dealing from the fallout from the Kilauea volcano erupting. What new threat residents there are facing now?
The ABC7 Stock Report is sponsored by Sunset Cadillac.
They are the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen. But what does it take to bridge the distance and keep them connected to family, home, and country? What does it take to strengthen our service members so they can be the greatest force for good in the world? It takes a force. Be a force behind the forces. Give today at force.uso.org.
Peterson Toyota of Sarasota offers hundreds of models to choose from. And now you can take your shopping experience to the next level with SRQ Plus. You'll love its added benefits exclusively at Peterson Toyota of Sarasota or toyotaofsarasota.com.
Since 2004, Embracing Our Differences has used the power of art and education to promote diversity. One way it accomplishes this is through its annual outdoor exhibition of 45 billboard-sized works of art, each accompanied by an inspirational quote. Join us in creating a community that is inclusive for all, where differences are embraced and individuality is celebrated. We invite you to celebrate the voices and visions of diversity and inclusion at this year's exhibit at Sarasota's Island Park.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
According to Golf Digest, 2 of the nation's top golf resorts are on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, the Auburn Opelika Marriott at Grand National, and the Renaissance Ross Bridge Golf Resort and Spa in Birmingham. Plus, the Marriott at Grand National was recognized as Hotel of the Year by Marriott International. Experience luxury and world-class golf Southern style. Visit rtjgolf/resorts or call 800-949-4444 to book your trip to the trail.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
I remember the first time I saw this in Florida when we first moved here. I was about 9 years old or so. And it was raining on one side of the road and not on the other side of the road, right? And here we have a situation where it is pouring down rain, and yet the skies are sunny in some locations. So that's the kind of thing that we see today, throughout the day actually. Periods of sunshine, periods of rainfall, some of it heavy at times. We have wet weather continuing for the rest of this week. It looks like it's going to be kind of a soggy Memorial Day weekend at the very least. We're looking at an 81-degree temperature today with a 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms. We just don't need any more rain, to tell you the truth. We could use a little time to dry out, and we might get that. For a couple of days this week, we might see a little bit drier weather. 60% chance of showers as we head into the 7 p.m. hour, and then things kind of taper off as we go into the evening and the heating of the day goes away. Showers dotting the landscape almost anywhere, almost anytime. That's the name of the game for today, and that's the name of the game for tomorrow as well. Some heavier rain showers embedded within a general light to moderate rainfall, but none of it containing any lightning right now, but we do have the potential for seeing some thunderstorms pop up later. A trough of low pressure exists down in the Caribbean. That trough of low pressure lifts northward. High pressure moves east-westward, and we get a little bit of a drying going on because of that high pressure ridge as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. But then this trough continues to lift northward, and there is the potential for some pretty heavy rainfall for parts of the northern Gulf Coast. There are some still discrepancies about what may happen with that trough of low pressure. It could develop into a weak tropical storm or a depression as it lifts northward into the central Gulf. Could move up toward the southern tip of the state of Florida and into the Atlantic. Too early to tell. One thing's for sure, it will increase our rainfall chances, and the chances are that it will be very weak. Right now, the Hurricane Center giving it just very low chances of development over the course of 5 days. So several wet days for us, some midweek drying, and then possible heavy rains this weekend. We saw this earlier with a system that moved through and brought us 6-inch rainfalls over the weekend. And we may see it again this upcoming weekend, which we really just don't need to see. In the next half hour, I will show you some computer models of what we expect to possible solutions for what could happen with that trough of low pressure. Southeast wind coming in at about 5 to 10 through the evening hours, light to moderate chop on your bay and inland waters. And the 7-day forecast, 70% chance today, again, a 60% chance tomorrow or better. And then we get a couple of days to maybe dry out just a little bit with a 30 to 40% chance of rain or less. And then that moisture slug lifts northward, that atmospheric river strengthens in intensity, and we get a 70% chance of possibly heavy rainfall Friday night into Saturday, maybe even on into Sunday. So unfortunately, Memorial Day weekend may feature some pretty wet conditions. Scott?
Seems to be coming every weekend, that's for sure. John, thank you. In Health Smart today, for the first time, an Ebola vaccine will be used to try to stop an outbreak in the Congo starting today. So far, 44 cases of Ebola have been reported in the Congo, most of those in a remote northern area that's hard to reach for aid workers. The death toll has risen now to 26 people, and health officials are hoping this vaccine will prevent the disease from spreading. More than 4,000 doses of the vaccine are already in the Congo, and more are on the way today. It's still in the test stages, but health experts say it was effective in the West Africa outbreak just a few years ago. If you suffer from migraines, you'll be glad to hear about a new medication, but the cost may give you another headache. The FDA has approved a prescription drug called Aimovig. It is designed to reduce the frequency of migraines that affect about 12% of Americans. It's taken by monthly injections, but those shots cost nearly $600 each. There's no word yet on the FDA is looking into other forms of the drug for possible approval. An update now out of Tallahassee. The state of Florida is suing drug companies that have donated more than $1 million to state politicians over the last 2 decades. And a new report suggests the majority of those donations were to Republicans. Attorney General Pam Bondi says the lawsuit is designed to recover damages from companies that have caused pain and destruction for Florida families. A new report shows 89% of those contributions went to Republican candidates or committees. The leading donor, mega corporation Johnson & Johnson. All right, let's head over to the kitchen now and say hello on this Monday to ABC7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher. Hi, Judy.
Hi there, Scott. Today you're going to get a 2-for-1. We're making Vietnamese chicken meatballs. We're going to turn that into a beautiful egg drop style soup. And we're going to turn it into a protein bowl. So you can have one day and one the other. And with the rain today, I'm leaning towards the Vietnamese soup. So stay with me throughout the hour. I'm going to teach you how to make Vietnamese meatballs, and we'll turn it into a couple meals for you to start the week.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
You want a Maserati, but you need an SUV. Why not have both? Levante, the Maserati of SUVs.
Experience it at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
To be able to just get my son here and not think about how we will pay for it, it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert Weather app now.
An update now out of Hawaii, where the lava flow from the Kilauea volcano continues to intensify and overtake more homes on the Big Island. This is a live look at that lava flow behind me right now. ABC's Matt Gutman explains how the new threat to residents cut off escape routes.
This morning, rivers of lava scarring Hawaii. That 4-mile ribbon of red cutting across the highway, flowing to the coast, now pouring into the ocean.
It seems to be flowing pretty fast down to Highway 137 to the ocean. It was at one point directed towards us.
The resulting steam setting up towering plumes of toxic chemicals. The newest concern, it's called laze. Lava morphing into haze when boiling lava hits the cool ocean waters. The change in temperature creates hydrochloric acid and steam, shooting fine particles of volcanic glass into the air. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez out on the ocean, watching that toxic mist firsthand.
The only thing that we can smell from here are the burning trees along the coastline.
The 2,000-degree mixture can cause lung, eye, and skin irritation. And now, as the lava flow destroys 2 more homes, the first reported injury on Saturday. A man standing on his 3rd-floor balcony rushed to the hospital, a so-called lava bomb completely shattering his lower leg. The active lava igniting everything, triggering small brush fires. Over the weekend, officials now going door to door, making sure all the homes are evacuated.
Incredible video from Hawaii. That was Matt Gutman reporting, and evacuations are expected to continue today. State officials have not said when those residents will be allowed to go back and check on their homes. Back to the kitchen now and check in again with Judy Gallagher for lunch. Hi, Judy.
Hey there, Scott. So let's get started with the Vietnamese chicken meatballs. I have some ground organic chicken that I picked up at Whole Foods. Now the thing is, you can buy boneless chicken breasts when they're on sale, put them in the freezer, and then you unthaw them halfway to get them so they're still slightly frozen as you're making a paste. We've combined water chestnuts, ginger, and lemongrass paste, and you can buy the paste at any grocery store. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add it to the chicken. And then I'm going to add just a little gluten-free soy sauce. Whenever I can, I try to cook gluten-free. It's healthier for us and it avoids that bloating. But it's also just really good. If you have friends that are on the keto diet, instead of rice wine vinegar, you can use coconut vinegar. You're seeing a lot more with coconut milk, coconut vinegars, lots of different things, but that makes a difference. 1 hit of spice, okay, well maybe 2, and then a pinch of this wonderful coconut Thai seasoning. And we're going to just kind of mix that in really well. And I see a little bit of that paste. It's okay if a few of the water chestnuts aren't completely blended in. You have your choice. Now we're going to add 1 beaten egg. You can just use egg white if you want. And then you can use either gluten-free breadcrumbs, unseasoned, or you can use toasted hemp seeds. I'm going to use a little bit of both. The hemp, I tell everybody, use flaxseed oil and hemp seeds. It makes your hair grow thicker and it's so good for you. So we're going to get this really cold. I'm going to stick it in the freezer for 10 minutes. Then we're going to add minced Thai basil and cilantro. Thai basil is a wonderful seasoning. Get it all together and we're going to roll it into meatballs. I'm going to put a little oil in the pan. We're going to start to sear them off, and then you'll see what we get to do for a protein bowl and a great Asian soup.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Get to Sunset Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat in Sarasota for big savings during the Chrysler Pacifica Incredible Sales Event. Get KBB's 2017 Best Buy Award overall winner, the Chrysler Pacifica, for just $23,999. Or save big and get the new Chrysler 300 Touring with an MSRP over $30,000 for just $21,999. That's a savings of over $8,000. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat in Sarasota today.
I used to dread getting up and going to work.
I was done with the corporate grind.
I was tired of being a starving artist.
And I started looking around for a business that I believed in, and I kind of wanted to do something a little more green.
My SCORE mentor helped me take the first step.
He helped me create a business plan and helped me implement it.
They've really taught me how to think big.
SCORE helped me to make the unimaginable possible, all for free. I'm here because of SCORE.
I'm here because of SCORE.
Get your free business mentor at SCORE.org.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
Every time you purchase a fishing license or register your boat, you're helping to preserve our nation's coastlines, lakes, rivers, and streams, protecting memories for generations to come. Learn how your participation in boating and fishing can help the environment at takemefishing.org/conservation.
My name is Blake. I received a heart transplant when I was 2 weeks old.
I play defense for the Red Hot Tornadoes. Sometimes my heart starts pounding like faster and faster as I go. I know I have someone else's heart inside me. It makes me feel happy because someone was generous enough to give me a second chance to live.
This gift of life was made possible by an organ donor. Imagine what you could make possible. Sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Coming up, why President Trump is demanding the Department of Justice to open an investigation into the FBI. Plus, a cougar attacks 2 bicycle riders, killing one of them in Washington state. And how early we could expect a final vote on closing a portion of a road that runs right through the Sarasota High School campus.
You're watching ABC7 News at 12:30.
Welcome back. Our top story today at 12:30, the latest on the Russia investigation. The president now ordering an investigation into the FBI after reports that the agency sent a confidential informant to question people connected to the Trump campaign over possible contact with the Russians. ABC's Tara Palmieri explains.
The president, acting on his often repeated threat to intervene in the Russia probe, ordered the Justice Department to investigate its own agency for political bias. Tweeting, "I hereby demand that the Justice Department look into whether or not the FBI DOJ infiltrated or surveilled the Trump campaign for political purposes, and if any such demands or requests were made by people within the Obama administration." Mr. Trump engaging in a tweet storm following a report in the New York Times that the FBI sent a confidential informant to speak to 2 Trump campaign advisors who were suspected of coordinating with the Russians before the election. The FBI won't confirm that it used an informant, but did speak about the need to keep informants' identities and activities secret.
The day that we can't protect human sources is the day the American people start becoming less safe.
But today, the president is asking for more, claiming that the investigation was politically motivated. He now wants the FBI to release confidential documents, tweeting, "Only the release or review of documents can give the conclusive answers." Hours later, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein said in a statement that he's ordered the agency's Inspector General to investigate. If anyone did infiltrate or surveil participants in a presidential campaign for inappropriate purposes, we need to know about it and take appropriate action.
If it had been for political purposes, well then why not disclose it in 2016 when it could have actually hurt Donald Trump politically for political purposes?
Ahead of President Trump's visit to the CIA for the swearing in of new CIA Director Gina Haspel, he slammed former CIA Director John Brennan, quoting a Fox News analyst who calls him a disgrace to the intelligence community for being involved in the Russia probe, and even suggested that he deserved jail time. Tara Palmieri, ABC News, the White House.
Happening today, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo unveiling his new strategy for Iran. Administration officials say their plan B is to create a global alliance to pressure Iran into negotiations on a, quote, new security architecture that goes beyond its nuclear program. The announcement comes more than a week after President Trump said the U.S. is withdrawing from the international Iran deal. This was Pompeo's first major foreign policy speech as Secretary of State. Also happening today, Gina Haspel is making history, now sworn in as the first female CIA director. Haspel was confirmed Thursday after a roller coaster nomination process. She faced scrutiny because of her role in the interrogation program used by the CIA under detainees or against detainees under former President George W. Bush's administration. Haspel has said that the CIA should not have conducted the program, which used tactics like waterboarding. She also vowed the CIA will not restart the interrogation program under her leadership. In Venezuela, President Nicolas Maduro is celebrating after winning a second 6-year term. But not everyone in South America nation is happy today. Even though Maduro won by nearly 5 million votes, the country is in the midst of soaring prices, widespread hunger, and rampant crime. Many countries, including the U.S., have called the election a sham and said that they would not recognize its results. Maduro has been in power in Venezuela since 2013. New at noon, one person is dead and another seriously injured after a cougar attack in Washington state. The two were mountain biking along a trail when the big cat suddenly attacked them. One of the men managed to call 911 and law enforcement rushed to the scene. They arrived and found the cougar standing over the other man's body.
It launched onto him and latched onto his head. He said he had his whole entire head in the jaws of this animal and was being shaken around.
Cougar was shot and killed. They believe that animal was the one responsible for the attack. China is racing to be the first to the dark side of the moon. It launched a relay satellite over the weekend to establish a communication between controllers on Earth and the hidden part of the moon. China will attempt to send up a lunar probe later in the year. If it pulls that off, China would be the first country to land on and explore the moon's hidden face. China is also planning to send probes to Mars by 2020. And then take a look at this, an out-of-this-world delivery. NASA launching a cargo ship to the International Space Station from Virginia early this morning. The rocket is taking 3 tons of cargo to the ISS. Among the items that they'll use, navigation instruments. They'll study E. coli bacteria in orbit and lasers that can create frigid temperatures. There's also food, clothing, and other necessities for the crew. NASA says the shipment should reach the orbiting lab on Thursday. And let's check now on our weather here on the Suncoast today. We've already had some showers kind of roll through as the sun was shining just a little bit of ways off.
We did.
Pretty weird.
It is very weird, isn't it, to see that? That's kind of the situation, though, throughout the day today. Actually, the sunshine helping to encourage some of those showers to grow. So, you know, what we really could use is just the sunshine and not the rainfall, but such is not the case for us again today. You can see that plume of moisture just kicking off all those showers across the Florida Peninsula this morning and even on Atlantic waters. Right now, we've got some moderate to, in fact, heavy rain falling in some locations, especially around Wauchula right now. They're seeing a pretty good downpour of rain there. Again, no lightning pops thus far, but I think we could see that later on. Plume of moisture all the way down in the Caribbean, lifting up through the Gulf waters and Atlantic waters, continue to carry the potential for some very heavy rainfall over the next several days. I do think that we might get a little bit of a midweek break in those rain showers, which would be nice before the showers return, you guessed it, just in time for the holiday weekend. 82 degrees in Bradenton, 82 Lakewood Ranch. Sarasota comes in at 81, 82 in Venice. And the planner calls for excellent chances of rainfall today and then kind of tapering off as we head into the evening and overnight hours. We'll have that complete, kind of soggy weekend forecast coming up in just a few. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. The hunt is over now for a man wanted in the death of a Northport teen who had been on the run for 5 months. Tyreek Bell is in custody after police tracked him down in Venice. He's charged with aggravated assault, robbery, and the murder of 19-year-old Trent Bartle Thomas. Police say Bell and another man barged into the Northport home demanding money back in January. Thomas tried to stop them but was shot and killed in the struggle. Bell's arrest comes just days after the $1,000 reward was announced for information leading to his arrest. Utility rates could be going up in Venice. The Venice City Council will consider a 5-year rate adjustment plan. It's a $2 increase in the first year and 2.5% increase the following 4 years. The council is expected to talk about that plan tomorrow, and if approved, it would go into effect beginning in August. Earning college credits while still in high school. South Sarasota County high school students may have that opportunity in the future. The State College of Florida's Venice campus recently applied to create a charter collegiate high school. It's like dual enrollment with less traveling in between classes. High school students would attend SCF for 2 years, working towards both college and high school credit. The move would save students 2 years of college tuition. Happening tonight, a final vote on closing a section of Sarasota School Avenue for a few extra hours when school is in session. Sarasota City Commission is expected to follow the school board's action last week and vote to close the road that goes right through the center of Sarasota High School's campus. It would be shut down from 6:30 a.m. until 10 p.m. during the school year when school is in session. It's currently closed till only 2:30 in the afternoon, but it does remain open to pedestrians and bike riders throughout the school day. Some neighbors say the closing of the road would be a huge inconvenience, but supporters like the head of a nearby charter school thinks it's a good idea.
Knowing School Avenue and how busy it is during the school day, in my opinion, it probably is a good idea if they kept it close.
We'll have the results of that commission vote later today on ABC7 as well as on our Facebook page and our website, mysuncoast.com. Happening tonight in Washington, D.C., the Tampa Bay Lightning are set to take on the Capitals again in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Bolts took a 3-2 series lead after winning Saturday night in Tampa on home ice. The Lightning now just one win away from heading back to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time since 2015. The puck drops tonight in D.C. beginning at 8 o'clock. All right, gold bolts. Let's go over to the kitchen now and check in on lunch with ABC7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher. Judy?
Okay, Scott, so I've taken some chicken broth and I've poured it into the bowl that we mixed the ground chicken with and all that beautiful seasoning, just so we get every drop. So basically what we're going to do is we're now going to poach these Vietnamese meatballs in the broth, but the broth itself is going to make a great soup. So I have some Chinese noodles. I've simmered off them right here, a little purple cauliflower because it just looks so beautiful. Then you're going to take 1 to 2 beaten eggs and make sure they're beaten really well. Get your pot nice and hot. This is when you want to really work it on medium high, so it's just about a slight boil. And if you drip it in like this, that gives you that wonderful, the stringiness of the egg. So that's going to be perfect. Protein bowl. I have cooked Chinese noodles that's also in the soup. And then what I do is I take some Napa cabbage and some bok choy. Now I do layers with the dressing, teeny bit of dressing. This is a mango coconut pepper dressing. It's got a little heat to it. But using bottled dressings and marinades, especially if you're just cooking for 2, it's going to save you a lot of money on other ingredients. And be creative. You can just put in some snow peas and some nuts and some Thai basil. You definitely want to use your Thai basil. Remember, we had some minced. We're going to put a little bit more now that the soup is finishing up in the soup. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take these steamed meatballs and we're just going to kind of add them on top here. Get that little noodle in there. These wonderful meatballs right there, and then we can just top it off with a little bit of nuts and 1 teeny drizzle, and that's all done. What you want to do with anything left over, put it in the soup. I have spinach. The only thing you're not going to put in basically are nuts, but I have snow peas. You could even put in the red pepper. This is just going to make such a vibrant dish. So simmer your meatballs off for about 15 more minutes, the Vietnamese meatballs, and then you have the base of a great soup. So use that broth again, and then of course you have the soup that's completed, and you have your dressing, and then maybe a little black sesame seed on top, and a squeeze of lime. Salad's done. Let's get ready to serve up the soup on this often rainy day.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Get more for your money at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Subaru vehicles hold their value better than any other brand for 2018, according to ALG. And Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand for 4 years running. The Subaru Forester is an IIHS top safety pick for 12 years running. And right now, you can lease a new Subaru Forester for just $229 a month. Or get 0% financing with 0 down. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
So, how many of us feel completely confident about our financial future? Let's hear some specifics. Yes, go ahead.
I don't want to be a burden to my kids. When my husband died, it took almost all of our savings to give him a proper funeral. I honestly don't know if there's enough to bury me, let alone cover expenses should something happen.
Okay. Let's talk solutions. One thing you may want to get in place is a guaranteed whole life insurance policy from United of Omaha Life Insurance Company, which is a Mutual of Omaha company. This is affordable coverage, which provides a cash payment which can cover funeral expenses, bills, and other financial needs. Most payments are on their way within 24 hours. Yes, sir.
Do I need medical exams, things like that?
No medical exams. If you're between the ages of 45 and 85, you can call this number or you can go online and apply for coverage up to $25,000. United of Omaha Guaranteed Whole Life Insurance. Call or go online now.
Get breaking news alerts focused on the Suncoast. Download the ABC7 News app. Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
And the wet weather continues for the Suncoast with excellent rain chances this week. 70% chance of afternoon showers for us and then tapering off as we head into the evening. But there could be some good storms around during drive time this evening. Right now, some heavier rainfall moving into areas of Wauchula, moving away from Wauchula, actually heading up toward Hillsborough County. But dotting the landscape, some light to moderate rain falling, and that will be increasing with time. We have a cluster of showers down to the south. The Hurricane Center is keeping an eye on this cluster, as are we, for its gradual development, possibly over time. Right now, a very low chance of any kind of tropical development over a 5-day period. Generally speaking, in the central Gulf waters or maybe the eastern Gulf waters, that's where that possible circulation might eventually end up. Some of the computer models are suggesting a very, very wet Memorial Day weekend. Taking a look at the forecast from the American models, it takes a low pressure area and develops it into the central Gulf waters and lifts it up toward the northern Gulf Coast. Now, if that were to occur, it would indeed be very wet across our area. And in fact, if the system were even stronger, it might improve our weather if it kept further away from us by us being on the sort of sinking side of the system. Another computer model, the European model, takes it up toward the tip of the state of Florida. It kind of backs away from intensifying it too terribly much and lifts it out into the Atlantic. But this stronger system, stronger storm, lifting up to the north and toward the northern Gulf waters, would actually improve our weather by carrying the rain showers away. In any event, the total rainfall forecast calls for an increase in rainfall chances as we head into the weekend. Over the next couple of days, maybe an inch or two additional rainfall from some of the thunderstorm activity, but look what happens as we head into the holiday weekend. Rainfall totals in some locations could exceed another 4 to 6 inches, just like we saw over this weekend. That, of course, aggravating the river flooding conditions across the region and leading to kind of a soggy holiday. We'll see how it plays out. Plenty of time to watch this system, but one thing is sure, it certainly has eliminated the fire danger across the peninsula of Florida. East-southeast wind coming in at about 10 knots and increasing moderate chop on bay and inland waters. And the forecast calls for today, good chances of rain. Tomorrow the same. Perhaps a little drying out period as high pressure builds in. But then as that slug of moisture lifts northward, our rain chances increase and possibly heavy rains coming our way Friday night into Saturday and then again on Sunday. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. In consumer news, the CEO of Facebook is heading to Europe this week to talk about security and privacy. Founder Mark Zuckerberg will meet with European lawmakers in Brussels to talk about how Facebook is protecting user privacy and the social network's possible impact on European elections. He'll also meet with the president of France on Wednesday. Sweeping new privacy laws will go into effect in Europe on Friday. The Supreme Court says employers can prohibit workers from banding together to complain about pay and conditions in the workplace. The court ruling 5-4 this morning that businesses can force employees to individually use arbitration to resolve disputes. Experts see this as an important victory for big businesses across the U.S. An estimated 25 million employees work under contracts prohibiting collective action by employees who want to raise claims about their employment. The Trump administration has previously backed the businesses, reversing the position the Obama administration took in favor of employees. It appears the U.S. and China have reached a new trade agreement. China has agreed to significantly increase purchases of U.S. goods and services. The Trump administration demanded this as part of efforts to reduce a trade imbalance between the two nations, but unclear still how much the increase will be. The announcement comes following weeks of tariff threats from both countries that had experts worried about a potential trade war. The U.S. intends to send a team to China to hammer out the details later this month. Still to come in your Suncoast News, the first look at the official photos released from last weekend's royal wedding between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Hello, Mom.
Amanda's mom's appointment just got rescheduled for today. Amanda needs right at home. Our customized care plan provides as much or as little help as her mom requires, whether it's a ride to the doctor or help around the house.
Oh, of course. Tom, I am really sorry. I've got to go.
Look, call right at home.
Get the right care right at home.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
Many websites selling medication may look professional and legitimate, but the vast majority of sites selling prescription drugs are doing so illegally. Criminals use websites to sell counterfeit medications that may contain life-threatening toxins. Dot Pharmacy is a website verification program that helps you identify safe and trustworthy online pharmacies. Purchasing medicine online can be safe and easy. Just look for pharmacy to the right of the dot in website addresses.
Don't allow your weight to threaten your health or control your future. Excess weight or obesity can cause emotional and physical health risks. But you can take control. The Your Weight Matters campaign offers free resources and tips to help you measure and understand your weight. Take the Your Weight Matters Challenge. The free toolkit prepares you to speak with a healthcare provider about your weight. Your weight does matter. Take the challenge and take control today.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said if you don't do dialysis, if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Then Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Oh, this is perfect for this kind of weather. Really tasty.
I better make enough for 10 days is what I'm hearing from
very
you,
nice.
right? Okay, so that's the ground chicken that we added lemongrass and bright flavors of ginger, little Vietnamese fish sauce. Poured the steamed the meatballs after we browned them in the broth, but we can also make it as a protein bowl. So we have the toasted hemp seeds on top of lots of chopped Asian vegetables, cashew nuts. So it's a 2-for-1 day with the recipe.
That is really tasty. Really good stuff.
Thank
Recipes
you.
on our website, mysuncoast.com. Check it out. This is the perfect weather for a nice hearty soup or a protein bowl. All the video instructions are there, of course, with Chef Judy herself. Thanks, Judy.
Thank you, John.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
Scott.
Thank you, guys. In entertainment news, Deadpool 2 and Avengers Infinity War dominated the weekend box office, and Ed Sheeran wins a big honor at the Billboard Music Awards. ABC's Christopher Watson explains in today's Showbiz Wrap.
Deadpool 2 did well enough to knock Avengers Infinity War out of the box office top spot, but its $125 million opening was about $7 million less than the record R-rated bow of the 2016 original. It's still the third biggest debut of the year after Infinity War and Black Panther. The romantic comedy Book Club opened in better than expected third place with $12.5 million. Singer-songwriter Ed Sheeran won the big prize, Top Artist, along with a double handful of others at Sunday's Billboard Music Awards in Las Vegas. Finalists Gabby Barrett, Caleb Lee Hutchison, and Maddie Poppy each delivered a trio of performances Sunday night during part one of the two-part American Idol season finale that also featured a surprise appearance from former Journey lead singer Steve Perry. We'll learn who the champ is tonight. And happy birthday to singer-songwriter Gautier. He's 38. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Christopher Watson, ABC News.
The New York Police Department is investigating sexual misconduct claims against celebrity chef Mario Batali. Several women who used to work with Batali have detailed incidents involving him and his business partner, Ken Friedman, saying the two used their position of power to intimidate them. One woman also accused Batali of drugging and sexually assaulting her while she was unconscious in 2005. Batali releasing a statement denying he sexually assaulted the woman, but did say his past behavior was, quote, deeply inappropriate and that he was remorseful for his actions. Jennifer Aniston for president. The actress is teaming with comedian Tig Notaro for the Netflix comedy series called First Ladies. Aniston will play the first female president of the U.S., and Notaro will play and co-write the series, but also play the First Lady. Netflix says the show will prove that behind every woman is another great woman. Finally, the first official photo of the royal weddings being revealed today. The photographs were taken Saturday afternoon at Windsor Castle. This is shortly after Prince Harry and Meghan Markle returned from their 2-mile carriage procession through the town. They show the newly married couple joined by members of the royal family, surrounded by page boys and bridesmaids. Nearly 30 million people in the U.S. alone turned in live to see the Duke and Duchess of Sussex wed. Congratulations once again to the very happy couple. You could just tell they adore each other.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously most couples who are getting married.
I adore that car.
Yeah. Did you know, John, that that's an electric E-Type?
Yeah.
Wow.
Electric,
Yeah.
Jag.
When are you guys getting yours?
No time soon.
I think it cost $500,000.
Oh, is that
It's going for.
Of course, all eyes are on the weekend forecast and what happens there in terms of any kind of tropical development or probably more likely some heavy rainfall. Bob will have the latest on that at 5, of course, and we'll be posting things on social media throughout the day.
Thanks for joining us. Have a good day, everyone.